Hello everyone, it's Mari for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be creating a card today using this gorgeous honeybee background. It's called Holly Jolly background. I love this so much. It's so fun for a background for your project. And I'm also going to be using the adorable Bear Hugs stamp and coordinating die set for the focal point for the front of my card today. So a couple of really super cute different products from Honeybee, and I'm going to show you another way that you can use them. Now I'm starting off with this background stamp. I've put it into my MISTI, and I'm going to stamp this out with some Honeybee Stamps clear embossing ink onto some white cardstock, and I'm going to then put some gold embossing powder over top of that inked up image and heat that up and melt the gold embossing powder. I'm just making sure that all of the different stamped areas on the white cardstock are nicely covered with that gold embossing powder, and then I'll take my heat tool and melt the gold powder, and it's just going to create this really pretty gold on white background for my project today. I'm going to use my Honeybee Intense Black ink to stamp out my sweet little Bear Hugs bear onto some craft cardstock. I'm going to stamp that out here in my mini MISTI and get that all ready to die cut out. So just tapping on that black ink, I will do that a couple of times until I get just a really nice dark impression. Then I'll take the coordinating die from the coordinating die set from the Bear Hug set and tape that down with my low tack tape, run that through my die cutting machine here. I've got my Bitty Buzz cutter on my desk. This is the Honeybee Stamps really awesome little die cutting machine that you can purchase in the shop. I'm going to add a little bit of color to my sweet little bear with some Prismacolor pencils. I'm going to be using French gray, blush pink, parrot green, light green, and sienna brown. I will list these colors in the description box below. I'm adding just a little bit of color here and there, for example, around the very edges of the bear, just to give that little bit of shadow. I love that the craft cardstock provides the bear color already, and so just to add that little bit of shadow to the edges of my little bear, I'm not using very much pressure on my pencils. I just want a really light impression of color. I'm adding a little bit of a shadow underneath the bear's scarf as well. I will add a little bit of color to the scarf area in a couple of different aqua green colors as well, just to create that little bit of extra fun color on this sweet little bear. I love this whimsical bear image so much. I think it's just so adorable, and I love how this works with this card that I'm creating today. Now this is just a darker green, and this one happens to be parrot green. I'm going to just add it as a little bit of shadow around the edges of that scarf, and also in those little kind of center impressions there that you can see me adding in there, just that little bit of detail into the center area of the scarf. And so just some really, really simple coloring. I also wanted to add a little bit of blush pink to the little cheek areas and inside of the little ears of the bear. Just again, that little light pressure, just adding the little hint of color to these different areas. This is so easy to do. It did not take me long. Now I'm going to be using the A2 double stitched frames dies from Honeybee Stamps to die cut out my background. And I do want this for an A2 size card. I've also, you can see here, I've obviously die cut out my bear as shown previously, but I also ran the bottom edge of the bear through the stitched edge of that die cut, the frame die cut, just so that the stitching is on the bottom part of my bear as well. I've popped the bear up on some foam adhesive, and now I'm just going to go ahead and lay that down onto my card front. I did also pop up my card front, the background stamping there, on my card base so that my A2 size card base is just my regular white card base, and then I popped up the background on foam adhesive. Now I'm going to add some details with some stars and some glitter paper. This is gold glitter paper, and I'm using the star die that's part of the Bear Hugs die set. This coordinates perfectly with that little star that's on top of the little bear's head, and so I'm just going to fill in that little area with this star die cut. I'll just put a little bit of foam adhesive on the back of that, and it will make it a little bit more dimensional. And I'm just going to use my Honeybee reverse tweezers to help me place that perfectly. So with that dimensional foam adhesive, it just really pops up nicely on the top of that bear. Now I'm going to use a variety of stickles to add some detail to the little bulbs that are on the little garland on the bear. So I wanted this to look like these are Christmas lights. And so I'm going to add some Stickles. This is just really pretty sparkly glitter gel. And I've added that in a bunch of different colors. I will list those colors in the description box as well. I'm also going to make sure that I add some little highlight to the little cheek areas with my white gel pen. And so just tapped a little bit of white pigment into the little cheek areas for a little detail. I don't know if I show this on camera, but I also used my black glaze pen on the bear's nose, just so that the bear's nose is really shiny and a little bit dimensional as well. Now I'm also going to be using I used that little star die from the die set to cut out a bunch of other little stars to add as embellishments to my background, just to add a little bit of extra bling to the card. And so I'm going to add some foam adhesive to these as well. And you can see that I've cut these from green glitter cardstock and red, as well as that gold that I used previously for the star on top of the bear's head. Now I'm just using my craft pick here from Honeybee to add that foam adhesive onto the back of my stars. And I'm using my reverse tweezers just to help me place these into the spots where I want them. And then that's going to finish off the background detail. Now I did use the sentiment from the Bear Hug stamp set and the coordinating die to die cut the sentiment out. And I've added some foam adhesive to the back of the sentiment, and I'm just going to place it across the bottom of the bear in that position. I heat embossed the sentiment with gold embossing powder, just like I did with the background stamp, and that's going to finish off my card. I hope you enjoyed this today, friends. I have linked up to all of the products below in the description box in the Honeybee shop if you want to shop for any of these products. Thanks, friends, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.